Top of the morning to you. This is Idea Television. My name is Paul Olatukwu, and this is the newspaper review. It's a lovely Sunday here in the city of Abuja. And now we're here to discuss all of the happenings around the country as discussed on the national dailies. Today we're starting off with Punch newspaper to see what's been said. Starting off with a story from POS agent says that new CBN policy, 40% POS operators may turn jobless. That's what agents are saying as a POS agent. And also we see the foreign Minister of Foreign Affairs who says that federal government opens diplomatic talks with the U.S. As regards Christian genocide allegations. Ministry share fact book with foreign missions. That's on page 5. And also we see on page 18 and 19, my leadership is rooted in service to God and humanity. That's what Caleb School founder is saying this morning. Meanwhile, on page 6, I am worried over defections to APC. PDP Governor Forum Chairman says. Meanwhile, on page 10, EFCC probes $6 million US dollars. Also 53,000 euros cash movement at Lagos Airport. Meanwhile, we see here that how I conquered stage 4 breast cancer. Media consultant Ikejiani is saying that's on page 27. And on page 22 and 23, it says that why marriage pays, quiet rise of spousal payments in Nigerian company. And also on page 21, I was dismissed from Catholic Mission for refusing to be temple prostitute, ex-reverend sister says. And on page 6, varsity lecturer begins strike on Monday. This is to start a warning strike, I guess about 10 days warning strike, and then from there move on. And also the big story here says that tech improve polls but cannot end the electoral flaws. Ex-chairman Mahmood Yakub, that's him talking, says technical glitches, violence, vote buying, persistent challenges. PDP and Labour Party knock Yakubu as ADC and NNDPP tax incoming chair. I mean, INEC has been in the news since I guess that's Thursday now, and as regards it's posted with the new elected chairman. And which is we are waiting confirmation, and then from there it went on to people's expectation from him, what he ought to do, how he should do his work, and all of that. I mean, he has not been confirmed, but then there are already been talks around all of this. But it's when it comes to electoral reforms and also electoral flaws, there are a lot of things that is to be discussed. It's going to be a very interesting one. And also, Mahmoud actually broke all of these things down, stating the fact that technical glitches, unexpected technical glitches. I mean, there are times because I've been on ground to monitor elections before, and I've seen it firsthand. It's happening where Beavers works perfectly for a while, and then at the point in time it stops working totally, or it starts rejecting people's faces and fingerprints. In some cases, it doesn't see the fingerprints, only sees the face. In some cases, I guess specifically for older persons, for older citizens, it rarely picks up their face, so it has to be fingerprints, and that's one of the issues of the beavers. And also, there's also the issue of vote buying as well, where we see that agents are mounted close to the polling booth, and then you have to show your vote to the agent, and then he confirms that you voted for his party, and they are directed to where to go and collect your money basically. And it played out so much. It has been playing out so much in the past few years, where people and then there are some times that they burst into fights because probably the money that was given to them to disburse was not enough, and then some people get angry and all of that, and sometimes it leads to violence just like that. And also there's also the story of POS agents who are currently they are probably shaking already, because it means that with the new policy there are some of them that will lose their job, and meaning that also need to fall back on our ATMs. And it just, I mean, it just shows that we're at a point where we need to actually think better, to look for better ways, look for policy reforms that can actually fix the naira, that can actually fix the nation, and that's one of such that the POS agent. There are some of those policies that will affect some, but I mean it's just needed to be done. Now let's move on to Sunday Vanguard to see what's been said. On page 2, Makinde Umai clash over Lagos Calabar Coastal Way. Say you are my junior. And also, and on page still on Vanguard this morning, you see that EFCC pro passengers arrested with about over 6,000 US dollars and also 53,000 euros at Lagos Airport. On page 5, Super Eagles escaped deaths after a crash makes emergency landing in La Luanda. And on page 13, we see that CSOs put Mukpiton on hot seats, adamant on electoral reform as new INEC chair faces Senate order. On page 2, Peter Obi goes on pilgrimage as he prays for a new Nigeria. Meanwhile, on page 5, we see here that we won't surrender to APC. That's what PDP is saying. Governor Mba hasn't told us he's leaving PDP. Fubara loyal to us. Governor Bala Muhammad is saying this morning. And also we see here that bandits meat sold in South. Inside story of how Kingpins, thousands of followers relocate to Northwest to Kwara, close to the market for disposal of the proceeds of their criminal activities, roasted cattle, which is southern Nigeria. That's on page 7. That's an uncovered story. And also we see here that to and fro Iperu Ogun by air, how Lagos, Abeokuta, Ibadan, others will reap benefits. That's on page 25 this morning. I guess the story is a very. I mean, it's good news to see that our Super Eagles escaped death. We thank God for their life, because they had an emergency landing at Laduna. I mean, they are coming back to Nigeria to play their last game, their last qualifier games after winning 1-2 to Lesotho last weekend. And it's nice to see that. I guess that's last Friday, and we're expecting them back again in Lagos, and then they had an issue with their plane, but they had to stop for a while and then continue with their trip. But it's really amazing to see that they were safe and there was no harm with any of them. And also there's also the story of all eyes are on Amukpeton, and everybody is waiting to see what exactly is going to bring on board. And it's all eyes on him basically. And also there's also the story of Ibadan Ogun Airport, rather, the Gateway Airport has been opened, and it's really amazing. It shows how much the government means into investing into a state, and it was a big showdown. Actually, it was a big showdown, and it also states around it are going to reap benefits. One, for example, is that of Oyo. Oyo's airport currently is still under renovation, so it's expected that they also benefit from this airport at the moment, and also it also brings more revenue for Ogun State. So hopefully in the next coming days we'll be seeing more flights. And I mean, if you want to travel to Ogun State now, you can. All you just need to do is to book your flight tickets to Ogun State. We're going to break now. Once we return, we'll continue with the news. We'll be right back.
Quantum computing. Quantum computing is still in its infancy, but has the potential to revolutionize industries that require massive computational power. Unlike traditional computers, quantum computers use quantum bits, or qubits, which can process a vast number of possibilities simultaneously. This makes quantum computing particularly valuable for solving complex problems in drug discovery, cryptography, and optimization. However, the technology is still experimental, and practical applications are limited by issues like error rates and stability. Despite this, quantum computing is attracting massive investments from companies like Google and IBM, and the market could reach $64.98 billion by 2030.
Yeah, welcome back. This is TREA Television, and this is the newspaper review. I am Paul Olagbopo, and this is Sunday morning here in the city of Abuja. Move on quickly now to Sunday Tribune to see what's been said on Sunday Tribune. On page 5, you see here that ASU raises alarm, says 309 professors have left Nigeria. That's on page 5 of the Tribune this morning. Also, we see here that Super Eagles plane makes emergency landing in Angola over cracked windscreen. That's also on the Tribune this morning. While on page 5, you see that White Tinubu granted pardon to drug offenders, foreigners, and others. That's what Presidency is explaining this morning. And on page 5, Supreme Court now to hear suit challenging emergency rules in Rivers. Fix Monday, October 20th. 6 months after Fubara's suspension. Oyebamiji pledges continued support for Ekiti poultry farmers. That's on page 22. Meanwhile, on page 6, CBN orders 48 hours refund for failed ATM transactions. Meanwhile, Saudi Arabia mandates Nigeria's pilgrims to receive polio vaccine for 2026 Hajj. And on page 4, Gale of the infection, why we cannot stop governors from leaving PDP. That's what Paul Bauchi governor is saying. Says Umba yet to tell the party is joining APC. Only undertakers are now remaining in PDP. That is what APC is saying this morning. I mean, there's been a lot of stories as regards defection here and there, and it is yet again we're seeing another one coming up again with Governor Umba said allegedly to be moving to APC probably on Tuesday this week, and it's going to be a very lovely one to see. But notwithstanding, people have said, APC has said that if people keep leaving a party, it's because there's something wrong with the party, and they should put their party in order so that people will not leave. And that's what APC is usually replying. And now they are now saying that only undertakers are left now in the PDP, which is very sad. And also, I love to take the story of ASU. ASU is said to be starting a strike tomorrow. And it's going to be, I guess, the first 10 days one and then indefinite strike if their demands are not met. And basically, the whole point raised down to the fact that, about living conditions and also welfare of their staff members. Also, they've raised alarm about how professors, there's also a brain drain in this sector. And it comes down to the point of there's a brain drain in almost every sector right now in the movement in the country. Now, I've seen about over 300 lecturers as well. Professors, not just lecturers. I mean, I do remember while I was in school, in the span of 3 years, I remember losing two two good lecturers to this movement. Actually, the movement of Japa, and it usually will just come sudden. You will not just see them again, or you stop seeing them regularly, and then you don't see them again, and that's how it happens department by department. And now we have over 300 of them as such across the country that have Japa followed the wave. Actually. And now let's look at the widely circulated newspaper, The Nation, this morning. To see what's being said about on The Nations this morning. It says, why Tinubu pardon reduced sentences for Vasta, Lawan, Sanda,